Hello? All right, so this is actually Nate, and we're going to talk about how he was able to house hack, the different ways he was able to do that, and also how he was able to leave his job and do what he loves. Let's begin. All right, so to start, do you mind just telling a little bit, real quick, how you got your house hack, the kind of the numbers on it, and then we can go over to the different ways that you've rented it. You've rented it Airbnb, short-term, long-term, you've kind of done it all, and kind of your experiences with those.
So started out, got the house about 2 years ago, coming up on 2 years, using FHA. So I lived in one unit, rented out the other. I think I paid $186 for it or so, and got $10,000 back towards closing costs. So I only had under $10,000 out of pocket to get into the house, and then I put another $5,000 into the second unit. So I was into the house for 15. Yeah, renovated the second unit. Just started living right away in the first unit. It was ready to go pretty much, and then started renting the second unit out for $1,400 a month. That was good, and then it got into the winter. My work slowed down a little bit, so I wanted to get some additional income. So the unit I was living in was a 3-bedroom, so I rented out the other 2 rooms. Well, I renovated one. It was a porch, and I turned it into another bedroom. It cost about $300. It wasn't really that bad. I painted it. It was semi-insulated, so it's a little chilly in there.
Yeah, that was a pretty small, like it's the size of like 2 queen beds put together. Like it's really small. I think you just put like a heater in there and called it a bedroom, right?
Yeah.
I put unofficial bedroom.
I put like a pretty thick carpet down to help insulate the floor a little bit, and I painted it, and that's really like it. And then I had gotten a mattress, California King, huge mattress.
Yeah.
And ended up getting that for free because of Amazon. They wouldn't even take it back. Threw that in there. I just had it on the floor to start off with. Didn't even have because I didn't want to have a whole lot of expense to start out with. Yep. Threw it on the floor, started renting it out, and people were paying $30 a night to sleep on a floor in this little room.
That's crazy. So that was through Airbnb, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like we're in a smaller town. We both live in the same town, and it's not somewhere where people go for vacation. It's very much so cheaper, but $30 a night, that's what, $800 a month or something like that. That's really cool for just like a room that didn't even exist. That's definitely a really cool value add.
Yeah.
To that property. Yeah.
So between that room and the other one, I had to pay utilities, so it was a little bit extra, but I was already living there, so it didn't add a whole lot of utilities.
Yep.
So I was cash flowing about $15 a month from the unit I was living in. So that was pretty crazy.
So yeah, what were your taxes, mortgage, and insurance, and then what was your total income at that point while you were living there?
Yep. So mortgage, taxes, insurance, all that was about $1,500, and then I was getting $14 from the unit upstairs, and then about $16 to $17 depending on the month. Sometimes you could get. I had very little vacancy because I did rent it out pretty cheap. I started doing a few upgrades and stuff, so I was getting more like $35 a night. The only downside of doing the Airbnb was it wasn't bad during the winter because I was able to be there because I was doing concrete, and that slows down during the winter. So I was able to be there, and you got to be there every single day, changing out the sheets and stuff, cleaning the rooms. It didn't actually take that much time. You had to be there every single day before 4 o'clock or whatever, so that people could move in.
I think definitely the Airbnb style, especially what you did where you're living in 1 bedroom. You can do this with a house or with a duplex like you did. It's definitely kind of for the single person or the people who don't really care that much.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if most couples would really want to be sharing their living space, but as a single person, like who really cares, especially if you're working a lot.
For me, just doing the Airbnb, I started doing that because I wanted to leave my other job, which I didn't like. It was nights, just bad hours. Yeah. Similar hours to what you're working and looking to get out of. Yeah. And then, you're on call all night. Sometimes I get a call, 11, 12 o'clock at night, and the person hadn't shown up, got to go do it. Or, got to go, the people didn't show up at night, so I got to go there at 4 o'clock in the morning and have it done by 7.
Yeah.
Wanted to leave that. Thought I could get some work doing concrete over the winter. I knew I could get it during the summer.
Yeah.
But I left my other job during the beginning of the winter. And then I was like, okay, concrete is not doing as well as I thought it would during the winter, so I need some additional income. Yeah. Did the Airbnb that paid for between the upstairs and downstairs. the 2 units that paid for everything, all my living expenses. I had no car payments, anything like that. I had no really bills I was paying aside from just living, the house and food and stuff, your basic things. So I was able to actually save a little bit while not working and living there and having everything paid for.
That's crazy. So pretty much with $15,000, you're able to retire. So when people talk about like, I'm going to need 2.5 million or a million or whatever, 15 grand, and you're pretty much able to not work for a while.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, theoretically, I didn't want to stay in that life, but I could have done that indefinitely. Like I could have just stayed there and indefinitely.
But no, you don't want to do that. But like, just like you could technically, so that's pretty cool. Or just the freedom to leave your job and not have the pressure. Did you have like, how long of like a runway did you have in the bank? Did you have like 6 months of savings, or a year, or 10 years, or?
No. I had about 6 months. Yeah.
Okay. So it was pretty lean.
It was pretty lean, and that's why I knew I needed to, before I, left my other job. I had started doing the Airbnb and saw that was working well, and knew that was sustainable, and then that I could also, if I needed, if Airbnb stopped working, I could just rent it out by the room, which is what I ended up doing when the summer hit and concrete picked back up. I couldn't be there every day. I was asking like you and other people to like my cousins to help, during the day if I couldn't get back in time to go like change over the sheets and stuff and clean the rooms, and then that was just getting out of hand. So switched over to doing the weekly rentals.
Yeah, so that's kind of the downside of Airbnb. You're either going to need a manager or a cleaner to take care of it and to schedule all that, or you're going to have to do it yourself. And if you're living there, it's fine to do it yourself, but once you move out, you either need to have that cleaning fee as part of it, and then start paying somebody to do that, which can be difficult if you only have a few rooms, or figuring that out.
Yeah. Even while living there, like it's a huge invasion of privacy. Obviously you have people like almost different people every single night in your house. So like, you walk out of your bedroom to go to the kitchen or bathroom or whatever, and there could be somebody there. Yeah. And I set it up so that it was as automated as possible. I put electronic locks on the doors so I could just send them a code, they could get in, and I didn't have to be there meeting them. But, that would mean sometimes, they wouldn't show up till 10 or 11 at night. I'd be in bed by then. And I'd wake up in the morning and there's somebody in my kitchen that I have never seen before. So that was a little weird. But it was actually really cool. I met some cool people. Over half the people I never even saw. So that was pretty neat. And money would just show up in my account and I'd really never see the people. It'd take about 15 minutes to do each room.
All right, so let's move. So you did that, and then you went into the summer, everything got busy. You don't want to deal with Airbnbs. It might be another option for somebody. You went into short-term rentals. There's a squirrel right there, but ignore that.
Yeah, they're all over.
That's crazy.
Unfortunately, there's too many houses around. I really want to go squirrel hunting, but
I don't think I've been shooting around instead here
because they're actually really interesting to look at.
He's digging a hole.
When you're semi-retired for the winter and you're just sitting on the couch reading,
you can watch squirrels.
It's actually really interesting. I went and got my binoculars and like the squirrels are only 20 feet away, and I've got my binoculars and I'm like, look, it's actually really interesting to watch them.
Squirrel incident over. You went from having the Airbnbs you don't want to manage. Most people probably don't want to manage them, and then you move into short-term rentals, which is still a little bit of management, but how'd that go for you? What is a short-term rental for you?
Yeah, for me, so I do week to week. Everybody has been, all right, so the first 2 people that I had in there renting 2 of the rooms out, they're still there, and it's been over 6 months. So I did week to week because if you look on Airbnb, just blink for a sec, there's a lot of fees and stuff associated with it. So if somebody rented it out for an entire month, which I had a few people do, they were looking for something long-term, semi-long-term, a few months at a time, and they would be paying almost $1,000 for the month, and I'd only be getting like $780 or something.
Really?
Yeah. There's actually a lot of fees and taxes and stuff. So I was like, okay, I can make this more affordable for other people, and I can keep a little bit more by just doing it, by the week or something for these people that are looking for something for a few months, maybe 6 months. So I started putting ads out on like Facebook and Craigslist, and people were interested. So I stopped the Airbnb dates so nobody else could book. And then when those ran out, I just filled the rooms up. And there are people, they're usually at a stage in life where they don't have that great of finances at the time. They don't have a whole lot of money saved up. They can't actually qualify for like a good apartment because they're renting these rooms out for $200 a week. Plus 200 is the cheapest. So getting $235 for one room and $200 for the other rooms.
So roughly $800 a month. And just so you guys know, for like our market, a not great one bedroom would go for $900 a month, or a decent 3-bedroom goes for, what was it, $15 a month or something like that. That's your other unit.
Yep.
So you're doing 8, 16, $2,400 if you're renting all of them for one unit. That's, you know, getting close to doubling what that unit is worth.
Yeah, I just I had a vacancy in the 3rd room because when I moved out, when I got married, I rented out the 3rd room. So I just figured it out. So I'm making over $2,500 gross for that one unit for the 3 bedrooms a month.
Wow, that's so
Plus,
cool.
since they're all weekly, you're actually getting the equivalent of 13 months rent in a year. So even if there's a little bit of vacancy, because I'm doing it by the week, it works out to still be better. The total building, the upstairs unit is paid for itself, plus the water for both units, and the mortgage and everything.
Yep.
And then the downstairs unit, I'm paying about $400 a month in utilities. So it's, you know, generating 25 and paying about 20. I'm making about 21.
Okay.
And that's what I'm cash flowing on that.
Yeah, so pretty much you're making almost $2,000 a month on, you know, a $15,000 investment. That's really crazy.
Yeah, I haven't really put much else into it. I haven't taken anything out of pocket. You know, I've taken a few, you know, a little bit of the earnings, just, you know, updating a few things. But the people before me were, you know, obviously not doing as much as they could with the place because I turned 2 rooms into bedrooms, so that added an extra bedroom for each unit, turning it from 2 2s to 2 3s, and then
that's huge.
You know, doing it a different way, just renting it out by the room instead of by the unit. You know, you can really maximize if you have the time, which, you know, I do. It takes a little bit more time because now you've got, instead of just one tenant to worry about, you know, for the first unit, I've got 3.
Yeah.
But it's really not that bad, and you know, it's definitely worth it for me for right now. It's enabling me to take the winter off and work on our other house that we're trying to sell and have some more downtime.
Yeah, so that's really awesome. So just like one house hack can really change your life, and, you know, finding ways to add value. You got that pretty cheap. And then, you know, adding an extra bedroom, renting out by the room. So there's ways where people don't think that they can do it, but they definitely, you know, can if you're willing to, you know, put in the, you know, a little bit of sacrifice, put in a little bit of time, and really just find a way to make it, you know, extremely lucrative.
It's hard. Our market right now is really tough, and you just, you know, got another place and you had to find a different way to do it because you can't just find a really good deal sitting out there. You know, it's probably not even going to make it to the market if it's actually a good deal. So you know, find a different way to do it and you can make it work.
So Nate's not like officially retired, but it really did give him a lot of freedom to be able to leave his job and not need that steady paycheck, and then also to not have to work during the winter, to be able to take a few months off and focus on things that'll help him grow as a person and reach long-term goals instead of needing to earn money just to survive right now. If you guys are thinking about house hacking, I'd highly recommend it. And if you have any questions about it, reach out to me on Instagram in the comments or on Facebook, and I'd be happy to help you out. Something I do for all my subscribers. So definitely just hit me up. Say like, Gabe, I have a question. I'm looking at this property. I'm thinking about investing in 5 years, 10 years. Let me know. And if you guys enjoy this and you got some value, just share it with a friend who you think, like, just knowing this could change their life, or this might inspire them a little bit. That'd really help us out, and you know, drop a like as well. That might help show more people, because that's what we're trying to do here, is simply help people improve their finances and their lives. So I will see you next week.